Bro, it's fucking cold. Freezing. Shit. Since we want to play, I'm going to see what's going on. Y'all don't run from this narcissism today. Don't run from the narcissism today. We want to talk about everything intergalactic. That's where we heading today. So I hope y'all don't miss out on this. We're going to see if we can make some connections with narcissism, the Egyptian text, and what they be called these little star seeds. We're going to try to see if we can get into the intergalactic family and make some references there. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Or should I put that picture of y'all the above up? That's where we starting at. It really don't matter for real. What's going on? What's the word, y'all? Damn, I think I should put that picture up. I'm tweaking. Hold on. Let me see if I can just do that shit. Just put y'all the broth up there. That'll make more sense. Either y'all the broth or new. Whichever one comes up. There you go. Bingo. We talking about the archons. The chief archon. We talking about God. Come on. Y'all want to play? Where am I at with it? We talking about the Gnostic creation myth. Who are the Gnostics? Who are these individuals? The individuals they basically theologians with negative theology. They explain the divine with negation, basically explaining what God is not rather than what it is. So, a little like going on the inside. Where we at? Reason why I'm bringing this up is because, excuse me, when we talking about God, we talk about the divine, things like that or whatever, we like to equate it to the creator of this world or the creator of the material world. Let's just say that, right? But the ancients, they never believed, well, I ain't gonna say believed in, they never looked at the creator of the world as God. In their explanation, they couldn't explain it. There was no way you can explain that. It was incommunicable. The natives or the indigenous, they called it what? The great invisible spirit. The Gnostics call it the one who is, the silent one, the invisible silent spirit. This is how they explain God. They didn't explain God as the creator of the world. The reason for this was because that energy was so far from the human world that it couldn't be explained. The Gnostics referred to God as the one who is, the great invisible spirit, the unknown silent one, the abyss, the non-being God, and other such mysterious, deliberately mysterious designations. When they said anything more about him, they primarily used an approach that theologians call negative theology or apathetic theology, talking about God by saying what he's not rather than what he is. The rationale for this approach is that since God utterly transcends the mundane world, the language we use to describe the mundane world is utterly inadequate to describe God. This is why they had the approach they had. So I find it funny that all of these religions try to throw their God on you. There is no God to throw on anybody. Now we're talking about demiurges. What's a demiurge? Let's go there. The demiurge, it means craftsman. It is the being who created the world in Gnosticism. The Gnostics identified him with the God of the Old Testament. This is the God of the Bible. I'm telling you all this for a reason, because a lot of these different creator gods, sun gods, lunar gods, whatever you want to call them, they're demiurges, thought forms, things that exist inside of you, lesser than you, subordinate beings. We got it? We good? Y'all rocking? In the beginning, there was only the one, the Father, who is illimitable, since there is nothing before it to limit it. Unfathomable, since there is nothing before it to fathom it. Immeasurable, since there is nothing before it to measure it. Invisible, since nothing has seen it. Eternal, since it exists eternally. Unutterable, since nothing could comprehend it to utter it. Unnameable, since there is nothing before it to give it a name. This is how they explained it in the Gnostic text. The Father was surrounded by luminous spiritual waters. He gazed into the water and saw his reflection. His reflection became Barbello. Who is Barbello? Barbello was a name given to the first entity to arise from God. In the literature of the classic Gnostics, after God, she's the foremost inhabitant of the pleroma. The pleroma is the Gnostic name for heaven. Don't mistake this with the Christian heaven. Okay, so God doesn't create Barbello per se. Instead, she comes from him by indirect means. For example, in some Gnostic texts, God's inexhaustible, I can't even say it, inexhaustible, that's how you say it, inexhaustible profusion of thought overflows, and a new being, Barbello, emerges from that intellectual flood. Elsewhere, it said that Barbello arose when God stared into the primal waters and saw his luminous reflection, just said that, which then became a new being. Barbello comes from the Coptic verb berber, to overflow or to boil over. That connection would be fitting in the light of Barbello having been born from the overflowing thought of God in the Gnostic scriptures. Gnosticism comes from Coptic Egyptian and other Coptic Gnostic texts, like the Nag Hammadi Library, which was found in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, in the caves. This is why they keep on bringing up Gnostic and Greek and Coptic, because it's all aligned and it's all connected. But I find it funny, because it's talking about this primordial waters, these celestial waters, spiritual waters. Let's go to some Egyptian text real quick. Hold on. God the Father in the Egyptian text will be called Nu. Let me put this picture up for you guys. Now we not talking about y'all the broth real quick. We finna talk about who they call God. Nu. This being right here. Nu, the watery one, or Nun, the inert one. Personification of the primordial watery abyss, which existed at the time of creation, and from which the creator sun god Ra rose. Ra will be considered Yaldabaoth. He's a creator god. He's a demiurge. Now, we're talking about God the Father, and we're talking about Barbello. Now, you see how Nun is an androgynous being with the breast of a woman, the beard of a man, right? The humanoid shape. But the Egyptians go a step further because they bring up Menhet Waret. Now, you have Nun and you have Nunet. It's supposed to be the Nunet. It's supposed to be the counterpart, the feminine counterpart of Nun. But you have Menhet Waret. Before I even read about her, I'm gonna tell you where she comes up. In the beginning of the universe, right? In the beginning, the universe only consisted of great chaotic cosmic oceans. The ocean itself was referred to as Nu. In some versions of this myth, at the beginning of time, Menher Waret, portrayed as a cow with a sun disk between her horns, gave birth to the sun. So although Ra rose up from the primordial waters, which is Nun or whatever, you know what I'm saying, what gave birth to him is Menhet Waret. This would be the correlation or the reference or whatever connected to Barbello. She means the great flood. Barbello means to flow over or to boil over. I need some water. Let me go back. Now, before I even go in, let me go in here. Because Ra, it also connected to the Sphinx. This goes further because before I even go in, understand that Yaldabaoth has a lion face and a snake body. Ra's connected with the Sphinx, and the Sphinx has a lion face. Why is Ra connected with the Sphinx? Ra was portrayed as a falcon and shared characteristics with the sky god Horus. At times, the two deities were merged as Ra Hor Aketi. Ra, who is Horus of the two horizons. This is why. Go in. Hold on. Let me go in. Let me go over here. Or Hormaket. Hormaket, or Horus in the horizon, is represented as the dawn and the early sun. He was often depicted as a sphinx with the head of a man, a lion, or a ram. The latter providing a link to the god Capri. Capri who? Capri Ra, the rising sun. In the Sphinx, the word Sphinx literally means to bind together or to tie together. You know what I'm saying? So this is where we find our connection with the biblical and the religious and all that, because you understand religious means to bind back. At least that's what the definition is. I didn't write it. Let's go back to Gnosticism. I hope y'all following. Is y'all following? It's the wrong page. In a second. Oh, I gotta get myself together. So we were just talking about Barbello. Just made that reference to Barbello and God the Father. These are two of the same being. You have God the Father, the celestial waters, right, which is literally nothing but potential energy. And once it looks inside of itself, it sees its reflection. Its reflection comes back as the Great Mother. Okay. His reflection became Barbello, the mother, his feminine counterpart. Barbello, also called Prenoa, which means forethought, was because she was the first thought of the Father. Barbello asked the Father to grant her foreknowledge, incorruptibility, life eternal, and truth. Let's go back. To briefly summarize the underlying model, God the Father gave rise to a host of spiritual beings or aeons. So This life eternal, foreknowledge, incorruptibility, and truth are aeons, are spiritual beings, titans, if you will. Things that you can utilize that exist inside of us, but they are beings on their own, basically. This is what it's saying. Let's go further. Where we at? The father gazed into Barbello, and she was conceived by him. She gave birth to a spark of similar light to the father's light. This was the son, who was also called autogenes. What does autogenes mean? Autogenes means self-created, self-generated. The father anointed the son with his goodness, which then was passed on to this was passed on his perfect goodness onto his son. The son was glorified. He was also called the Christ. This is you. They're talking about the creation of your soul, how your soul came about. But not necessarily creation, because remember, these beings create themselves. It says right here that God didn't create these beings. They came out on their own. This is how the story goes, period. So when a being comes into creation, right, or existence and starts to create, that shows how less of a being or how less a God they is. They're not really a God for real, for real. Where we at with it? Where is we at with it, man? Just as Barbello asked the one to give her new aeons, the son asked to be given another, the mind. This is where mind comes into being. We think we got our mind now. We just think about our mind now. We have it here in the physical realm, yada, 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 whatever. But Gnosticism is telling you from a primordial stance where the mind comes from. The mother and the father agreed. Mind arose and glorified his mother and his father. What does glorified mean? Let's look this up real quick because they keep on saying this. They keep on saying this. To praise, to acknowledge and reveal the majesty and splendor of God by one's action. Describe or represent as admirable. Okay. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. Dang, I gotta get back. I gotta go back. I keep going to the wrong thing. All right. Mind wanted to bring something else into being through the Father's word. Now, you know, when we talking about word, right? An esoteric meaning for word is your DNA, like your power, your genes, your genetics. Remember, all of this exists inside of us. It's a part of our genetics. Will was born, followed by word. The Father made the Son the master of all power and truth. From the Son came forth, came forth four luminaries. This is where they start to explain those 12 archetypes. You know what I'm saying? What we call the zodiac. These are not actually the zodiac. These are where the idea of the zodiac came from, or the 12 archons came from. Four luminaries: Harmazel, Oriel, Davati, and Alalith. Each came into being with three additional aeons along with its own. The three aeons with Harmazel were grace, truth, and form. Now, I want to point this out right here. I know I keep on making little side notes, but I have to point this out. They just said form. They just said form of one of these aeons or one of these luminaries or whatever, one of these light realms, basically, right? When we look at the physical realm, the material world, whatever you want to call it, third reality, we like to think that form takes place here. Form doesn't take place here. This is why I always tell you, your actual body is your light body. Your light body is housed inside of your physical body, or however you want to put it. But that's the actual body that you're dealing with. This physical body is an illusion. Form started somewhere else outside of this place. That's what I want to point out. The three with Oriel were insight, perception, and memory. The three with Davati were understanding, love, and idea. The three with Elilith were perfection, peace, and Sophia, which is what? Wisdom. Why is that so important? They always put that in parentheses. This is where we're really going here. When we talk about the source, we like to think of it as, it's the woman, and or some people be like, oh no, it's the man. No, it's actually both. It's this picture right here, what we were just talking about. Now we're getting to one of the emanations, what we would call Sophia. And this time we would call it chaos. Some people call it nine ether. Some other people call it the great mother. Next was the perfect human. This is the Pajaradamas I always tell you about. Or Adam the stranger, holy Adam, or old Adam. This has nothing to do with the biblical Adam. This is the actual Adam, the spiritual Adam that we be talking about. Your spirit. This is what they're talking about. Adam, who came into being and glorified the Father, he was placed in an aeon of Harmazel. Adam had a son, Seth, who was placed in an aeon of Ariel. He was set of those who were not saints, but nonetheless repented. Eventually, were given a place of their own in the aeon of Lilith. What's her name? Sophia. Sophia watched these marvelous radiant beings all around her. A desire to give birth to an aeon of her own arose within her, but she acted on this desire impatiently and impulsively. She didn't bother to involve her divine partner nor obtain the consent of the Father. Since she had descended from the Father, she was full of his tremendous power, and she was able to birth a new being that contained some of her divine essence. But because this new entity had been conceived by Sophia alone, it didn't resemble the other immortals. Instead, it was a hideous and misshapen. It was like a snake with a lion's head. It had eyes like lightning. Why? Why does it look like this? Side note real quick, y'all. Dang, where is it at? Oh, I gotta go to it. Here we go. Side note. So we always like to look into the what are they called? What are they called, man? We always like to look into the star seeds and this, that, and the third. Let's try to find a connection here. Lyra, the Lyran star seeds. They are amongst one of the oldest souls in the known universe, along with the likes of the Avians and the Alpha Draconians, which have been discussed at length. And they ain't even talking about nothing. Along with these other beings, they played an essential role in the creation of humanity and seeding the universe with all humanoid sentient life forms throughout it. In this way, they have acted as master geneticists and expert DNA engineers. What does this mean? They are also divine creators of entire worlds and civilizations. It is believed they played a vital role in this civilization, in the civilizations of Atlantis and Lemuria, as well as providing Earth with the element of fire. The Lyrans also assisted in creating for the likes of Palladians, Syrians, and other humanoid races. And for this, Lyran starseeds tend to identify as hybrids or a number of other types of starseeds. Let's go in further. It is also worth noting that the Lyran starseeds are believed to be a byproduct of the Elohim. Okay, let's go back. Because one of Yaldabaoth's son is named Elohai or Elohim. One of his sons is named Elohai or Elohim, one of the Lyrans. And the Lyrans are a lion species. Yaldabaoth is described with the lion face. Ra is associated with the Sphinx. Ra is associated with the creation of the world. Ra is also associated with a falcon. What is a falcon? An avian. What are the lions? What are the Lyrans associated with? The avian star seeds. Bird people. Now we making a connection here. Now we making a connection. I ain't even put this into no document. I'm just reading and studying. Where we at with it, man? In fear and shame, Sophia cast her son out of the divine realm, the fullness, the pleroma. That's what they call heaven, the pleroma, the fullness. In hopes that none of the other inhabitants of that perfect place would see him. To conceal him further, she enveloped him in a shining globe and placed him on a throne in the middle of it. She named him Yaldabaoth, which means child of chaos. Remember, this nine ether, this dark matter energy, this darkness before the light is considered chaos. The light that came out of the darkness will be considered the creation, will be considered Yaldabaoth. That darkness is his mother, chaos. Yaldabaoth, child of chaos. In the Aramaic text, he is also called Sakla, that means fool, and Samael, which means blind God or God of the blind. Yaldabaoth made it with his mindlessness and generated 12 archons. What archons? Archon mean ruler. Now, if you really want to go further, archon also mean like police, judges, principalities, things of that nature on the earth realm. But on the spiritual realm, it is things, it is entities, what they call demonic entities. Don't get it misconstrued with the spiritual interpretation of how we explain what these demons are. These are your actual demons. You get what I'm saying? What the Christians and what they be telling you to stay away from for real. That's what it is. But they actually dealing with it because these will represent the actual angels for real, those actual angelic angels. But these are the actual demons. Remember, Yaldabaoth is associated with the God of the old text, so the God of the Bible, Jehovah. You get what I'm saying? Jehovah has 12 angels. Yaldabaoth has 12 archons. Archons are rulers. They say malevolent, sadistic beings who control the earth as well as many of the thoughts, feelings, and actions of humans. They assisted their master, the demiurge, with the creation of the world and continue to help him administer his oppressive rule. These are the archons. Don't do that now, y'all. Don't do that now. Y'all ain't got no questions? Go ahead, lay it on me. Lay it on me, man. Y'all good? Y'all rocking with it? Yay? Nay? What's that word? Let's get these likes up. Y'all just here? Dang. It's like, what did we learn? Or we ain't learned nothing. As I'm doing a good job. Like let me know something. What did we go over? We went over in the Gnostic text, God the Father in Barbello. Who is God the Father in Barbello? God the Father is spiritual water or primordial water. The reflection of God the Father is Barbello, the mother. Barbello means to overflow, to pour out, boil over. In the Egyptian text, which this is what this comes from, Nag Hammadi Library, you have Nu, the watery one, the inert one. Then you have Menhet Waret, the great flood. This is what Ra comes out of. Ra is who? Ra is Yaldabaoth, the creator of the world. Why is he the creator of the world? He's the creator deity. He's looked at as the sun. But he's also connected with the Sphinx. The Sphinx is a lion deity. Yaldabaoth is a lion deity. We go to the Lyrans, the Lyran starseeds. The Lyran starseeds are connected to what? Lions and avians, bird people, feline people. Ra's connected to what? Lions, because the Sphinx, and his face, which is what? A falcon. Bird people. The Lyrans had a hand in what? Human DNA and all other humanoid species. This would count for that whole creation story, the creation of the material world. When we talk about the material world, we're not just talking about what we're living on right now. You never know what's going on outside in space. Y'all like to talk about that. The Lyrans, they say, are a byproduct of the Elohim. Yaldabaoth, one of his sons, Cain and Abel, or also called Yayo and Elohai or Elohim. You guys starting to make the connections now? Are you guys starting to make the connections now? Because we just went over all of this stuff. And I just ran it back for you. But y'all not making me feel like you getting it. And this is what y'all be wanting. If not, we'd go back to dark psychology and talk about how people try to manipulate your feelings and things like that. But y'all be acting like y'all don't want to hear that. So what we doing? What did we learn? Got the goddess in the business. What we learn, y'all? We talked about the autogenius or autogenes, the self-generated. The baby develops itself in 12 weeks. Starts developing everything on his own. Self-generated, self-created. What is his name? I think it's Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin had a stand-up and he talked about 1 + 1 equaling 3. Because one man and one woman will make a child. And that trinity is what? It's 3. But me and my queen talked about paradoxes. When two things can mean or happen at the same time, whatever, and mean different things or whatever. This is what's going on right now. This is why God is incommunicable. This is why the Egyptians and any other religion you want to talk about that is looked at as a pagan or a polytheistic religion, it's not. It's actually monotheistic. It talks about the one. Every system talks about the one, but it explains it in a polytheistic way. Some of them have a better way of doing it, that being Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, the big 3. Because it makes you think that they're not doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, but they do. Everybody has an exoteric form of looking at the actual scriptures. That's the beginning of it. That's where the darkness is. That's where the primal energy is. That's where they would take their scriptures and go ahead and create this to give you moralism in that. You think all of these things are important? based upon how you should act and feel towards things or whatever, you think that way because the state and religion are not different. They put them together. And because they put them together, everybody is forced to believe they have to live a certain way. Now you can't even go inside yourself and develop your own quote unquote beliefs. You know I don't like to use that word. But your own understanding, your own understanding, your own overstanding and perception on things. You can't even develop your own, how you feel in your heart towards shit. You can't even develop that, a genuine feeling towards things. You got to be biased. You have to be. Because the world taught you to be like that. But this, what I'm telling you right now, this is some of the original text we can get. And it goes further. But I'm saying that to state this. These individuals, when they wanted to explain God, they explained what God wasn't, because you can't explain God. So check this mentality. Because I can't explain God, why should I sit there and focus on it? You got to become God. We already know that what they call the creator of the world or the material world, it isn't God. Why? Because you have some power inside of you that's over that being. You come from the cosmos, what they call the pleroma, what they call the fullness. You the master of that. That's what they said. The sun, it's not a sun like a male sun. It's a celestial sun. It's a being of energy, of light. But they giving you what they say, parables and allegory, metaphors. They're giving you those things. This stuff has to be hidden from certain individuals who lack the desire to really want to be righteous and really want to learn this for themselves and not for, let's just say, malicious intents. You do what you want to do, but you got to be pure of heart when you're doing it. So let's just say this right here. Most people, when they want to deal with magic and things of that nature, it's because somebody hurt you or whatever. Now you want to get back at them. You think it's real. You probably watching videos. You probably heard something. You may have even saw something. But something happened to you. Now you want to go to the next BabaAkil or priestess or whatever and get a ritual done or thing like that or whatever, right? Now we dealing with the energy you put out. It comes back. You don't know what these individuals are dealing with. And they don't care what you're dealing with. They just care about your money. Now what have you? Now you are messed up. Not knowing what's going on. You're going to be stuck because you got to go back to them because only they can fix it. They the one that's doing it. Unless you go inside of yourself and realize what's taking place. You can do it because you're recording everything. And your higher self, your Ori, right? Your subconscious will allow you, you feel what I'm saying, to avoid all of those obstacles, basically. If not, you subject yourself to live like that. You have to. Most people be like, you got to get initiated in certain systems. Oh, you got to. You feel what I'm saying? You got to go here, you got to go there, you got to go through, you got to do that. You don't. They're telling you that because remember I told you about the systematic approach. Certain cultures develop certain systems and it's been working for years. That ain't nothing to praise about, especially if you don't have no bloodline lineage to it or actual connection to it. If you do have an actual connection to it, then you got two options. You can do this, or meaning like you can take the systematic approach, or you can take the occult approach, meaning you can self-teach yourself. You can go and get lessons from here, from there, but you never get initiated. The minute you get initiated, you subject yourself to anything and all the rules that's going on inside of that. It's almost like saying, I'm a citizen of the United States. I hate when people say, we free, but you don't want to go further into learning the law and things like that. It goes further than just saying I'm free because you got contracts in bills with the state. What do I mean? Your license, your registration, your ID, all of these things are contracts with the state and the government. These things give the state and the government a certain type of jurisdiction over you. So the things that they're doing to it, it don't matter how it play out in court, how it play out in media, it's 100% legal if you identify with what determines you to be slavery, or not slavery, but a slave, property. Your ID. When your name is on your ID, we already know. Anybody hear about the Moors, they tell you your name is a straw man. It's a fictitious entity. It's not connected. Well, it is connected to your natural being, which will be you. But on paper, it's not you. So when you go into a store and you hurt yourself and you fall, and anything like that or whatever, you can sue a store. They never arrest the store and take the store to jail. They only fine them and do things like that because they don't own that business. They own you. USCC. Uniform Commercial Code. Everything is ran under commercial codes. Everything that has a uniform. As well as your straw man. When you take back ownership of that, it's almost like filing a lien on your person, stating that I own this. You have your birth certificate, you got your social security number, you got all of the information stating that you are you. So you file a lien on your person the same way you would do on your car. This is what they do. But they tell you to join their groups and do all that stuff. It's your civil right. So it goes further than just being spiritual and all these things like that, because now we're talking about all of this paperwork. Why am I talking about this paperwork? Remember, we indigenous. You know what I'm saying? I definitely subscribe to you. I know who my people is, so it ain't just about reading no books now. So if we indigenous, we got word of mouth because we actually have birth right here. What do I mean here? These people that you contracting with and doing business with, the state, the government, whatever, right? That's their form of that's how they get out, using paperwork. We use oral tradition. We use word of mouth, right? So, but you have the particular paperwork to back up, let's just say these quote unquote statements. I own this person, right? So you can file these little files or whatever. You can do all that, and you take back ownership of your person or whatever, and you go forth and you do you. I'm not gonna sit here and break it all the way down to you because I'm not that person. But what I'm saying is this: we love to get out here and be like, we free, we this, we that, but you ain't doing nothing at all, period, point blank, to truly free yourself. Not spiritually, not physically. We live in a dual life. You got to do it, or you're gonna succumb to what's going to take place, whatever that may be. Ain't no sense in telling you if you're not gonna get involved. Hold on, I'm just chatting. Freedom ain't until you belong to yourself. Yes, you gotta belong to yourself. Like, it's an occult way, and that's what taught me. It's an occult way to overcome certain fears. Okay, cool. Then I go further into, what I just laid out. First, you gotta be completely fearless when you stepping into this. I done stepped into the darkness. Of course, I'm gonna be able to face the quote unquote world, the quote unquote government. Of course, but we ain't facing it like, we not facing it like no revolutionary. We ain't coming like the Black Panther. It's not happening. Now, if it do, and we, I'm jumping down, but it ain't happening. So miss me with it. You got to start with self first, and as you expand outwardly, right? Where's your first destination? In-house, the home, the family structure. We be so bent on trying to fix the world or whatever, but your family ain't together. That's another thing with shadow work. First, you got to accept the quote unquote negative influences that influenced you in your childhood that made you quote unquote who you are and how you view yourself. How you quote unquote protect yourself with your egos that you done created. These illusionary mental constructs that you identify with. You got to go in and embrace the fact that, hey, this happened to you, but it happened to you for a reason. You learned something. Whatever was quote unquote negative, bad, whatever, you got to bring light out of that. But you got to be sincere and pure heart. You can't do it out of spite. You got to do it out of love for yourself. The individuals that may have harmed you or you felt that harmed you, they know not what they do. Period, point blank. Some of them come here to do certain things. It's only when they become conscious when you can actually penalize them for real. They know not what they do. When a dog is barking and doing what they doing, somebody knocking at the door or whatever, you cannot get mad. They hungry, gotta go outside, can't get upset. It's the same thing. It's natural, it's nature. You can't get around it. But when you become conscious, you learn something called magic. Magic is the manipulation of nature or the reality around you. But you have to convince yourself, remember, the reality that forms around you is projected and created through what? Your subconscious mind. So you got to convince yourself that this is real, that's real, whatever it is that you get into. And when you get so good, you can convince the people around you. Real magician. You know what I'm saying? That's where we at with it. See, y'all don't want to hear about no narcissism. Y'all just want me to chat. I'm trying to, you feel what I'm saying, break something down. But I guess it is what it is. Yes, man. It's all about what's going on the inside. What's going on the inside of me is completely different from what's going on the inside of y'all. That don't mean I'm here and y'all there, or y'all here at all. I don't know where y'all at. One of y'all could be a levitator. You never know. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm up here chatting on TikTok. Next thing you know, you go inside yourself. You come on here, I'm levitating. We ain't gonna believe you. We gonna think you crazy, but it's happening. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. It's not about what a person believes in you. It's about what you believe in yourself. I hate using that word, but what else we got? No, it's about what you know in yourself, I guess, because they don't know. A person, when you go inside of your meditations, and we talk about this heavy because this is what's important. When you go inside of your meditations and stuff like that, these experiences that you have and whatever, even if you try to explain it, you really can't explain it because it's something beyond this human understanding or comprehension, right? So for a non-believer, they definitely not trying to hear that. You feel what I'm saying? It don't matter if they want to understand. The spirit won't allow them. It's the fear in them. Sometimes it's our spirit that's trying to protect us. Sometimes it is our spirit that set it up this way. We got fear from a certain thing to protect us. You feel what I'm saying? For a certain amount of time. Everybody don't wake up at the same time every single day. I don't wake up at the same time every single day. I wake up around the same time every single day, but I don't wake up at the same single time every day. So I know everybody don't wake up at the same time every single day. And because of this, you don't wake nobody up or attempt to before it's too early or whatever. Let's just say that. Why? Gonna make them angry. Turn into the hawk. Make me mad. You feel what I'm saying? Bang on the wall. Bang on my chest. You feel me? Now, right, when we do that, sometimes we get upset because our people are reacting to what we projected. Why are we projecting this? Why do we feel the need to save this individual? Sometimes the individuals that we go to save or try to save or whatever, in their mind, that's what's important, they are already good. They have no understanding, no awareness of what's going on or what we have knowledge of. They don't have this. And that's okay. Because what you're doing is cultivating something inside of you that's more grander than what you can even understand right now. The little tools that you will utilize in these books right now, in the moment that you're using right now, right, is something minor, minuscule, they would say, to what you're going to learn tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. The idea is to be 1% better than what you was the day before prior. We're talking about consciousness. We're talking about having intent here. We're talking about acknowledging what you cannot see. Real faith, not belief, not the assumption, the no, right? We ain't gonna say belief, the no. I know this is real. I know this is gonna happen. When you know something, right, it's like affirmations. When they say affirmations, you speak on the affirmation as if it's present, as if it's right here in the now. Because you want to fool your subconscious, not your subconscious, but your ego. Your ego is a filter. It does not want anything that's better than it, or that can supersede it, or that can make it less of use. It doesn't want none of that present in your life. But once you can get past it, your subconscious mind will form that reality around you. Excuse me. So it's not for individuals that are into this. You got to be all about saving yourself. This is a selfish ride, a selfish journey. And I don't care how it sounds, because guess what? I'm saying it's selfish, but what am I doing right now? I'm on TikTok talking to y'all. I could be not. I could be doing whatever I want to be doing right now. You feel what I'm saying? You could be doing whatever you want to be doing right now, but you give me attention. We build it. The mentality is selfish. Physically, you don't have to be that way. You're having a dual experience. You feel what I'm saying? You in your mind, but you also observe it in the physical. You observe what you do. You observe what you say. You observe what you experience. You observe what you thinking. That's what you're supposed to be doing simultaneously. And it's not going to happen all at once. But the more and more you build a desire to want to change, you have to have a dissatisfaction. One of the gods told me that when I was in prison. You have to have a dissatisfaction in order to stimulate change. Got to. Watch this. Going back to individuals who are quote unquote asleep, not woke. You feel what I'm saying? They may be living their best life in their mind. You feel what I'm saying? There is no dissatisfaction within their consciousness that will stimulate a desire for change. You can't be that. Something inside of you stimulated this dissatisfaction, whether it was the world, whether it was your childhood, or whether it was just a video and you was like, man, I always felt like this. You get what I'm saying? Whatever it was, it happened to you. Everybody is not going to be the same. And whatever you into, right, you ain't going to be into it 2-3 years from now. This is a doorway just to get you to where you need to be. That's it, that's all. And then when you open that door, you're going to be in that room, You're going to get what you need to go. You're in this party, you partying, whatever, you feel what I'm saying? Next thing you know, another door going to appear. I'm going to holler at y'all. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gone. Because you got to get what you got to get and get moving. Godspeed. You can't get stuck in none of these realms. Everybody has their own realm within inside of them. You feel what I'm saying? That's what they was meaning when they was talking about God the Father gave hosts to a realm of spiritual beings or aeons. An aeon is what they call a spiritual being, but an aeon is also a realm of 1 billion years. Think about that. Think about when they was talking about truth, incorruptibility, life eternal. All of these things we existed in. These are realms. These are aeons. They're also spiritual beings, but we just existed in the realm of this. This is us. This is our essence. We done been in all these places. We got this knowledge, the memory of it. You feel what I'm saying? To go inside of ourselves to construct whatever we want. This is what I'm getting at here. You alone. Everybody has this. Not everybody's into it. It's 8 billion people in the world, which is not really true, but it's 8 billion people in the world. That's what they say. A small percentage of that 8 billion people is into what we into right now. And if this is something to you, if this is everything to you like it is to me, then that should mean something. Because that means that 90.9 some whatever percent of the world is under a spell. They have a veil over them. You feel what I'm saying? That says a lot about you as an individual. That's what I'm getting at. There's a difference between a spiritual individual and a religious individual. And when I say this, I'm not saying it like, so, okay, when we look at the religious people, it's like, okay, I can't mess with you. No, I learned everything from everybody. But you have to make that distinction, because that will tell you where to go, who to talk to, how to talk to them, how to approach them. Because as a spiritual person, as an occultist, a metaphysician, you feel what I'm saying? You learning everything. So you got the language of everybody. You feel what I'm talking about? That's how you help them. You don't tell nobody God ain't real, man. You talk to them about their scriptures. This is why I read the Bible and all that stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And if it's something inside of them, like a soul, it may activate. Somewhere down the line, they might be reading something like, hey man, dude said something about, let me go ahead and look this up or whatever. They gotta do it on their own is what I'm getting at. You did it on your own. You feel what I'm saying? You may not look at it like that, but that's what's going on. It's all about what's real to you. That's facts. What's real to you? I explain, narcissism, or I bring up narcissism because we live in America, and a lot of us know more about Christianity than anything. So that's why I like to bring that up. We know what's going on with that. But I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that you have a quote unquote God that everybody makes you or wants you to believe in. We grew up indoctrinated. But this God is associated with a demiurge figure, which is a subordinate craftsman being. You feel what I'm saying? The devil, so to speak. You feel me? This is what the ancient people, the beginning Christians, this is what they taught. I feel like that's interesting. We know the story about how they came about or whatever, or what they is now. You feel what I'm saying? Roman Catholic Empire. But the Gnostics, these were the people that they were trying to get rid of, or that they did get rid of, quote unquote. And there was a many of them. That's just in the Christian era. You feel what I'm saying? But it was Islamic Gnostics, Persian Gnostics, You feel what I'm saying? Narcissism itself comes from Egypt and Greece. So we know it was spiritual people all around. People wasn't just religious. This is why I always say we had mystery systems. We didn't have religious systems. We didn't have religions back in the day. That's something fairly new. And all these things was based on going inside of yourself and establishing a certain type of foundation inside of yourself based on whatever the culture was, whatever was going on in the stars, whatever alignment they had in their regions. They utilized all of that. We know this. We have history of it. But now what do we have? Now we got hindsight. Now we live in what they call the modern era. You feel what I'm saying? We can go back, we can look at all these texts or whatever, and we can recognize that they was talking about us as individuals. They was talking about not us as individuals, as individual people, but souls, individual sparks of a greater source. They're explaining our mythology. They're explaining our actual story. Right? A lot of these stories are so old, so ancient, down to what you call dead religions, dead languages. This is why you have to go inside yourself and resurrect that. Somebody not dealing with it, they got power over here. Your power is within. It's energies, it's entities, it's symbols, it's all types of signs that's calling to you and pulling at you. But you have external forces that's telling you where to go, telling you where you need to be. Man, your zodiac sign this, man, you should be in the house at this time. But in the house at this time, you got like a full moon or this type of sun or whatever. You need to be out there absorbing that. Ancestors need to be giving you light codes. But whatever their religion is, in the reading, they telling you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Nah, man, how do you feel inside of your heart? That's what need to be going on. You need to be trusting your heart and your intuition. We need to be having a billion books that talks about that. But we don't. Something so simple. I'm keep on saying, I'm gonna keep on breaking it down. It need to be simple, it need to be practical. You need to know and understand that you already naturally do this. It ain't something that you have to obtain. Once you get that, right, things start to change drastically at a rapid rate. We done been indoctrinated so much that we feel like, you know, we have to obtain a certain type of knowledge, a certain type of status or whatever within anything to become something. That's not what's going on when you already that. You just got to tap inside of yourself and see it. When I say see it, this is what I mean by the affirmations. When you speak on things as if it's already in existence. Think about this. Think about daydreaming. Think about seeing yourself in the present in certain scenarios that's not even happening. Let's just say that. But greater than what's going on. Right? And hold focus on it. Once you start to do that, things start to happen. It's as simple as that. Right? A book gonna tell you, hey, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But in 1,000 books, right? If you break it all the way down, that's all they're telling you to visualize. Visualize and imagine where you want to be. You don't know where you want to be. So now what's the problem? Now we got to do shadow work. Now you got to look at yourself. You have to observe yourself. You have to look at, well, why do I act like this? Do I act like this because this person did this to me? You know what I'm saying? My mom, my dad, my sister, my uncle, whatever, my cousins. Did this happen because of this? You feel what I'm saying? Am I hurt or whatever? You have to heal yourself. Once you do that, your pure self starts to come up. Ego death. You feel me? We start to build certain egos, right? Certain consciousnesses that's illusionary that we identify with, right? A false state of self. We identify with these things to protect certain aspects of our personality, certain aspects of who we are on the inside. When we were a child, we was told not to do this, not to go here. Or somebody did this and told me, but you bet not, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to do this to you, you feel what I'm saying? Or whatever. These things happen to us. These are the important things. These things have an impact on our actual adulthood in life. You're only a child one time, but you're adult forever, right? But the child, if it's never healed, you never have an actual perfect balanced adulthood. You never have a balanced life. So you have these abilities. Ain't no I gotta obtain them. You just gotta tap into them. Once you tap into them, you don't know what to do. You gotta go back and heal yourself. So you should always heal yourself if you're not healed. If you don't know, whether you healed or not, you should be looking into healing yourself because you should already know. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's literally these things that we hold on to. It ain't no relationship. It ain't nothing like that. That's why we always talk about childhood trauma. These are the things that impact us. Think about what's going on in the consciousness of a 1 to 2 year old, 3 to 5 year old, 6, 7, 14, 10. Think about what's going on in the consciousness of that individual and what they're going through, or what they could be going through if they having these type of experiences, what we're talking about, and how it can impact their life. Think about your children if you have them, and what happened to them in their life. It's that simple. That's spirituality. It ain't all about just, I got these beads on, I'm finna get up, I'm finna whatever, eat me some fruit and all that. No, it's a lot of crying. It's a lot of feeling low, lonely. It's a whole lot of that. Understanding why I feel like this, because I'm the one that's the experience. I'm the experience. The world ain't nothing happening to you in the world. You happening to it. That's the key. You happening to it. I'm the experience. If I'm the experience, you the experience. You feel what I'm saying? So you observe what you observe, but in all actuality, you the experience around here. The world that we live in is based upon ideas. In Gnosticism, they say Yaldabaoth made it with the mindlessness inside of him and generated 12 archons. These 12 archons helped him create this world. He got his idea of creating this world by Sophia. Sophia got her idea from creating Yaldabaoth by the luminaries. The luminaries got their idea by bringing their aeons, their realms, or their spiritual beings into being by us. And we got our idea by bringing all of that into existence by Source. And Source just said, hey, I'm going to look into myself and just glance at my reflection. And we already got the story. If y'all was here, we just went through that whole little text. What did we learn today? Ladies and gents, kings and queens, empresses and emperors. What did we learn today, guys and goddesses? I don't think we learned nothing. I just think we was chatting. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I appreciate y'all for coming up here. You feel what I'm saying? Getting the likes up. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all know I offer mentorships and consultations. You know what I'm saying? If it's something simple with the consultations, we can work out something. Consultations day 45. If we want, like I said, if it's something simple, we can work out something better. But and I offer mentorships. If y'all want something more personal, you want to learn something more about this or anything for that matter or whatever, come holler at me. Just hit me up. I say hit me up on Instagram, but you could just hit me up on here. You know what I'm saying? If I don't follow you and you just hit me and you hit me up, you can still hit me up. I'll see it. I'll just follow you back and we just be chatting it up. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Unless y'all got any questions, man, y'all playing. Y'all playing these games. What's that word? What we doing? What is that word, man? We got everybody in the building, man. The fam in here. Peace, peace, peace. All the fam. You feel what I'm saying? Should I? Dang, I just locked my thing. Should I go over it again? What we do, y'all? We talked about God the Father and Barbello. What is God the Father? What is Barbello? Both of these two entities would be mother, father, father, mother, however you want to put it. But this is source. And God the Father is a celestial water, a primordial water. God the Father in Gnosticism looked into himself and saw his reflection. His reflection was Barbello. Barbello means to overflow or to boil over, right? What else? What else? We equated that to the Egyptian god Nu, which is in the primordial Agdawad of the Egyptian text, Papyrus 790. Nu is the watery one or the inert one. You feel what I'm saying? We talked about Minharet. Minharet being a connection to Nu, meaning the great flood, because she is the one that Ra rose out of. While they say that Ra rose out of Nu or the noon, this was what birthed him out of the primordial mount. Ra is equated to whom? Yaldabaoth, the creator, the demiurge. Ra is associated with the Sphinx. He's associated with Harma'aket or Harma'kaeti. You feel what I'm saying? Horus in the horizon or Horus of the two horizons, Lord of the two horizons. The Sphinx is a lion. Yaldabaoth, it has a lion face. Yaldabaoth has one son. Well, he has three, but he has one son called Elohim or Eloi. Let's go to the Lyrans, the star seeds. The Lyran star seeds are associated with avian star seeds and the Lyran star seeds and the Alpha Draconians. The avians, those are the bird people. Ra has a falcon face. Also, getting back to the lion face. The Lyrans are supposed to be associated with having been dealt in our genetics, basically, creating humanoids all across the galaxies. Let's just say that. You feel what I'm saying? They say the Lyrans are a byproduct of the Elohim. So, what did we learn today, you guys? That's what we talked about. That's what we talked about. They say the archons have beast-like face, humanoid bodies, but they're neither human nor animal. Okay? We can say that about these star seeds. What I'm saying is now, with all these connections that I made, if Yaldabaoth is the creator of the material world and the universe, right? We talk about the universe, we're talking about everything that we see. We ain't talking about the unknown, the darkness. That's not the universe. We're talking about everything that you can see and all these other things that they be talking about is out there. That's a part of this. God created that. Yaldabaoth. So that means all these galaxies, these star systems, all of that, right? His sons, one of them is called Elohim, right? We know what Elohim mean. We know it's a plural for what do you call that? For gods, basically. It's like saying Anunnaki, okay? But Yaldabaoth is associated with whom? Ra. Ra is definitely associated with the Elohim and the Anunnaki because he's a part of the Neteru. That's another way of saying it. That's how the Egyptians would say it. But if he's associated with the Sphinx now, it just makes me believe that there's some type of connection. And we always talk about these intergalactic families and all that stuff. Well, let's make a biblical connection then. And there you have it. You got these lion people, they say, that had a hand in creating humanity as well as other humanoid races. You feel what I'm saying? They say the Palladians, they say the Syrians, and every other thing. They say so much that they call themselves hybrids, right? A hybrid to me is what? A being that's constructed of other beings, mutated. Even though a mutation is something that's natural, we don't know that, or we don't like to look at it like that, but that's what's going on. That's what's going on. So that's how I'm looking at it now. The Elohim, the star seeds, these Anunnakis, Yaldabaoth, the Archons, Ra, it's a connection there. We just pointed it out. And if you was here earlier and you got the text, we just read all of that earlier. We're going to go over it again, maybe tomorrow, maybe later on, I don't know. I got some more research to do. I ain't going to lie to you. But I'm asking y'all ain't got no questions, man. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? You liking this, but what's going on? Oh, damn, I ain't even see the likes. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the support for shit show. Man, bro, you already know I got you, bro. You already know I got you. I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait to just build with you. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I felt like it was decent. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about dark psychology the other day, but man, somebody like, man, they ain't like the information, so I'm like, okay, all right, bet. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about these intergalactic things or whatever. Now nobody want to talk about it. Now nobody want to talk about it. This what we doing. Ain't nobody ever spoke on this. I ain't seen it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's new. So if it's new to me, that means that we all collectively right now is getting something new right now. You feel what I'm saying? And that's really how I like to do it for real. I really like to do a little study first. Don't get me wrong, I did look into it a little bit first, but we getting some things here, y'all. We getting some things. I didn't speak on this because it didn't come up on the thing. I wanted it to, but let me see. Let me see if I can aeons, because they said that. Let me see. Here we go. The aeons tended to emanate from God in male and female pairs called synergies, which is singular synergy. You feel what I'm saying? What is synergy or synergy? Because I felt like it had some type of like significance. A conjunction or opposition, especially of the moon with the sun, a pair connected or corresponding things. So now we got a word for the pairs of the primordial beings or the primordial counterparts. They call them synergies or syzygies or whatever you want to call it. This is the word. Hold on. Syzygies. Syzygies. But yeah, y'all. I'm damn near finna get up out of here. I'm damn near finna go. I don't know how long I've been up here. You know what I'm saying? But yes, they might be overlooking the connection between manipulation in the physical world. They just might be, though. I ain't gonna lie. What y'all think? I don't know if y'all don't say. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not a mystery box, or am I? I got a lot of mysteries, but what mystery do you want to know? Because if I don't know it, I'm gonna learn it, and then we're gonna build on it, and then we might activate something. See, that's the key. You feel me? That's the key here. It's a bunch of systems, techniques, practices, and information that we can get into that's already had light that was shedded on it. Meaning, it was dark at one point in time, and we already made it light already. Like this dark side information. Y'all do know that this dark side information is really like, I'm gonna just say 40 or 50 years old already within our community. Not over the world. I'm just saying within our community. It's older. They've been occultists and metaphysicians. But us, we've been doing it for, I would say, the last 50 years. So there's new things that we can be doing. Like earlier, what I was just saying. The reason why I brought up God the Father, the new Barbello and Minaret is because we always equate source to Sophia or the non-ether or the dark matter, yada, yada, yada. No, that's an emanation of source. That's something that you can tap into. Part of that something is here trapped inside of this. That's the power inside of you. The power inside of you that can manipulate things around you would be what? What your parents called it. They called it imagination. They told you was imagining things when you were talking and connecting with other frequencies, other dimensions and things of that nature. When you were seeing things that quote unquote wasn't there. When you were hearing things that quote unquote wasn't there. That's what they told you. They told you it was your imagination. On the Western world, that's what we got. And we got medicine. On the Eastern, they help those individuals to heal the community. First they heal themselves, then they turn out to heal the community. So now, my imagination is in my dreams. I gotta live my dreams. I gotta chase my dreams. Subconscious delta waves. Consciously aware and being able to observe what's going on so I can manipulate the present and the future. What do I mean? Not the present and the future, but the present in the future. What do I mean? If I've been influenced by what's going on in the physical world, remember, everything has been created by thoughts. You living in a house, that's somebody else's idea. You ain't come up with it. I wore this outfit first. I did it first. You didn't do it first. The person that created it did it first. They thought about it. If everything is an idea, right, you have to create your own original idea and thought and manifest it. That's what I'm saying here. In order to do that, you got to align your thoughts, your actual thoughts of what you're consciously thinking, right, genuinely with your heart or your subconscious or your intuition or your dreams. Visualization and imagination is literally the same thing. So this is what I'm trying to tell you here. If you're a person that has like an active mind, an active imagination, you actively daydreaming, whatever, you already 10 steps ahead. Because you can visualize things and bring them into the present. Now we talk about intention. You have to have intention with these things. Because your intention and your attention is the same thing. This is now we're talking about energy. Put your energy out into it. Remember, your heart got to be aligned with it. So your heart got to be pure. Your heart got to be in it. This is what you truly got to be like. You truly got to want to do this. This is what I'm saying. It could be something so simple as this. You could be having a life that's terrible. Like, I want a house, right? I want this, I want that, okay? But if your heart's not truly in it, you can do everything the books say. You can do everything Baba say. Not me. I'm talking about the Babalaos, the priest, whoever you go to. And it's never going to work if your heart's not there. Something that's so simple as, I want a house. And you think the universe is going to give you everything. No. You got to give you everything. That's what I mean. Universe ain't going to give you nothing. So going back, visualization, imagination, you have to see yourself there. Affirmations, you have to speak about it as if it's already true, as if it's already present in your life, regardless of what you physically see, because what you physically see is an illusion. You got to become the abundance. You got to become the wealth. You have to embody it. And when you do that, naturally, the things manifest and attract to you. We always think in a low vibrational negative state. So those things happen to us. They be like, watch your thoughts. Be careful what you think. Be careful what you wish for. Are we not wishing for something better or wanting something better? Are we not visualizing ourselves and seeing ourselves in better positions, higher positions, whatever it could be? If it's something in the job, for me, it's always been something spiritual. I've always wanted more hidden knowledge. You feel what I'm saying? So that's personal. But whatever it is, I don't know your life. Can't have any doubt, and you gotta have an open eye to opportunities that will get you to your goals. That's facts. No doubt at all. Because that's telling yourself, I don't like to believe it. I won't say that word, but it's telling yourself, I don't believe in myself. Again, we could be saying we gods, we magicians, we goddesses, we whatever, right? But if you doubt yourself, then you will never be able to access your power, basically. You will never be able to manipulate your reality. You feel what I'm saying? And then, if we too big-headed, if we think we know everything or whatever, right? We might not catch the actual quote-unquote miracles or whatever that we need to be paying attention to or observing, what they call the synchronicities that aligns us further and helps us reach what they call spiritual awakening or spiritual enlightenment, which spiritual awakening to me and spiritual enlightenment is pretty much the same thing, and it's something that's going to happen all the time. Anytime you make a synchronicity, anytime you make a aha moment, you walk away with something like, man, I could do this, or you know what I'm saying, things like that or whatever. That's what's going on. It's not something that you just reach and then it's over with. Excuse me. That's what it is. So we learn narcissism and we learn ourselves. That's the major thing, ourselves. The book of self, the tree of life. There's so many pages you will never be able to read it in this lifetime. But you can skip past and get what you need. You know what I'm saying? That's what's most important. What you doing in your life right now, whatever you're doing in your life right now, you're going to need something specific, a specific tool, a specific expression, characteristic, whatever, a mental genius, a genie. You're going to need something, right, to help you get through with that. And you're going to obtain that in your memory. And this is shaping your God body. Because remember, everything happens in cycles. So when it comes back up again, you will know how to you will know how to do it. Also, if you're paying attention to your specific cycles, you will be able to catch it before it happens, before it manifests. Sometimes we gotta sit down. Sometimes we gotta take action. You feel what I'm saying? But look, y'all be safe, man. I love y'all all. Peace.